Hey, welcome back to Live on Purpose, the podcast that encourages you to live intentionally and make a real impact on the world around you. Now, in our first episode, we explored the power of self-discovery, staying curious and patient while finding your purpose through your gifts, talents, and passion. Today, we're diving a little deeper to explore using your unique gifts to season the world around you. In other words, how your talents can enhance the lives of others and make life, well, more flavorful. This week's episode is all about understanding the role you play in making a real difference through something as simple as salt. Just think for a moment about salt. It's such a simple ingredient, yet it's something we use every single day, and it's in almost everything we eat. We consume huge quantities of this stuff in tiny small amounts. Just think about the last time you hit McDonald's and poured even more salt on your already salty fries. or maybe that's just me. But seriously, have you ever really wondered why we love it so much? Why it makes food taste so good? I recently came across a study where researchers were exploring the real reason we use so much salt. The obvious answer is that it makes food taste better. But the question was, why? Well, researchers found something fascinating. Salt doesn't just enhance flavors, it also masks some of the bitterness in food. So it balances things out, and in doing so, it makes the overall meal experience much more enjoyable. Now, if you've ever been in a salt-free diet, you probably know that everything just tastes rather bland, right? This was true for my mother-in-law, Janet. She had a very special relationship with salt that always made me smile. Janet had to follow a low-sodium diet for health reasons, and let me tell you, she was not happy about it. Janet would make my husband and I literally smuggle in salt for her whenever she was in the hospital or in rehab because the food was so tasteless. It's a true story. And she was sassy about it too if we forgot, or when we started quoting the doctor's orders. But with a twinkle in her eye, she always said, "A little dab does it every time, making this meal taste divine." That's how powerful salt was to her. It had the ability, you see, to bring life to something that would otherwise feel rather lifeless. Oh, this story always brings me back to one of the most meaningful teachings for me in the Bible, where it says, "You are the salt of the earth." Oh, yeah, this is from Jesus teaching his followers about their purpose in life. And here's the direct quote. Check this out. Jesus said, "Let me tell you why you are here. You're here to be salt seasoning that brings out all the wondrous flavors of this world." Oh, I love that image, right? That metaphor, because you see, just like salt has the power to transform food, you and I have the power to transform our world no matter who you are. Oh, the message is clear. Just as salt seasons food and brings out the best flavors, you too have a unique gift to bring out the best in the world around you. Now, you may be thinking, but I'm not that special. I'm not that kind of change agent like salt. But let me remind you, salt, while small and simple, plays a huge role. Without it, food would be bland, uninteresting. So, just like that, your gifts, no matter how small they may seem, have the ability to impact the world. To impact the world in ways that you can't always see right away. It's the small things, the small gestures, words, actions, all that make all the difference. Now, what I love about this metaphor of salt is that it doesn't need to be the biggest, loudest, or most obvious thing in the room. It doesn't take much to make an impact. In fact, a little goes a long way. The power of salt isn't about it being the most noticeable thing. It's about its ability to enhance what's already there. And that's the power of your gifts. That's the power of you. You don't need to be a loud voice or to draw the attention to yourself, right? Just by being present, by using your gifts thoughtfully, intentionally, you can make a world of difference. This is exactly what we're talking about today. You have something unique to offer, whether it is your ability to listen, or maybe it's your creativity, or your crazy sense of humor, or your kindness. It's those little things that can have a huge impact. And remember, you don't have to be loud in word, action, or deed to make a difference. You just need to be intentional, purposeful. Now, let's think about how salt works. It's distributed, right? You can't just put it in one tiny corner of your meal and expect it to make the whole dish taste good, right? So you've got to spread it out, sprinkle it around. And this is true for you, too. Your gifts are not meant to stay hidden or to be kept only for yourself. So just like salt, they are meant to be shared, to sprinkle into the world, to enrich and season the lives of those around you, those in your family, and all those at your workplace maybe, or in school, with your friends, or even in your community. And remember, your impact does not need to be dramatic. I just think again about Janet and how a simple pinch of salt made a world of difference to her meal. Just a tiny bit of seasoning can turn something bland into something special. Just like a small act of kindness or encouragement from you can literally transform someone's day. To live on purpose, to show up this way, friends, it's a game changer. You know what I'm talking about. Come on. Maybe it's the moment that you stuck up for a different kid at lunch whom everyone else was making fun of. Or that time that you told a coworker who was experiencing a tough time in her marriage that you were there for her. Or the time that you helped someone who was in need and gave of yourself through a listening ear, or your time, your talent, your resources. Maybe it's as simple as when you gave that word of encouragement, a check-in text or a pop-in visit. That was when you became salt. You became the substance which savored a world which for another person had become tasteless, drab, and dull, and perhaps even not worth living. It's those seemingly small gestures. They're so powerful. They season the world around you. I'm going to double down on this, and I'm going to say it again. The impact we have in the world does not need to be something flashy. You don't have to be the loudest person in the room. What's important is the quiet, steady influence you have through the small ways that you choose to show up. Your actions, your gifts, your talents, your love are the seasoning that makes life more flavorful. Just like salt transforms a meal, your contributions can make the world better for others. So here's the challenge for today. What can you do to season the world around you? What can you do? Maybe it's as simple as offering a smile to someone who looks down, or reaching out to check in on a friend that you haven't heard from in a while. What can you purposefully sprinkle into the world? It's the little things that season life, that bring out the richness, that make the world taste so divine. Then, don't forget, reflect and journal about it each day. Let these small moments and gifts help you claim and live into your purpose right now in your life journey. And as we close out today's episode, remember this: you are the salt of the earth. Don't underestimate the power of what you bring to the table. It might seem small, but just like salt, your influence can make a world of difference, one moment, one person at a time. Hey, well, thank you for tuning in today. And next week, we'll explore the idea of finding purpose in the midst of challenges, or as I like to say, amidst the crazy that life brings. Until then, keep seasoning the world with your awesomeness. And remember, a little dab does it every time. Catch you next time on Live on Purpose.